Yeah, so my name's Luke. I have worked in SEO for like 10 years, worked at an agency, worked in-house. It's all I've done since I left school. And these days I just run affiliate sites and share what I'm working on, share my progress, share the things I learn, and mostly the things that I fail at. And that's about it. I don't, it's so hard. It's hard to explain this to someone who knows what I'm talking about. I'm used to trying to explain it to family members who've got no clue what I'm talking about. But
So does
even
that involve selling weapons to Poland?
yeah. I've heard weirder things. Honestly, my granddad doesn't even understand the internet, so trying to
It
explain the fact that they you can automatically track sales based on the links that people click is a no goer in terms of explaining that to him.
Could you imagine if you didn't understand how the internet worked at all, and so you were trying to explain this to somebody who doesn't understand even how you could navigate something, and then they're like, you can tell what I'm doing. Are you in my computer? Like,
Yeah,
are you in it? Can you
I,
see?
I'm not sure I need to imagine it because my granddad really is that bad. He writes in white paint his PIN number on his credit card like that, and he got an iPad. We were trying to teach him like how to use this sort of stuff. He got an iPad and he couldn't find the home button on it, so again he painted in white paint where the home button was. So I'm not sure I actually have to imagine that at all. I have to put up with this, and it's obviously me that gets called when he needs stuff fixing.
So let's give our listeners, our viewers, a little more foundation. So you said that you have affiliate sites and you have this YouTube channel. And I've also come across your Twitter account. And I'm not going to lie, I'm going to ask you about some of the things from there, if
Yeah,
that's okay.
yeah, sure. Go
So
ahead.
talk to me. How many sites do you have right now?
God, in total, I would have no idea how many sites I actually had off the top of my head. The sites that I focus on right now, I've got six or seven that I purchased this year. So that's my main focus at the minute is the sites that I've bought off other people. At the start of this year, I had one main site that I sold, which was like 99% of my business's income. So I went out, started to reinvest that money. I reinvested about 25 to 30% of it in acquisitions of sites. So I've since gone ahead and reinvested another 10 or 15% into trying to improve those sites, but make the content better. So the sites that I'm focusing on now, I share the income reports and stuff on YouTube. I noticed in the live stream of yours that I watched where you were talking about not wanting to share your earnings or not wanting to share sites, and I've always been like that. I never wanted to share any of my metrics really. But I found sort of a nice way to go about it. Just focusing on this portfolio of sites that I've bought and sharing the metrics from those. It's kind of not giving away the whole package kind of thing, but it's a little insight at least so that people know how well things are going, how badly things are going. I'm very clear when I say, yeah, these sites are earning thousands of dollars a month, but they're not even making a profit yet because of the money I'm putting in each month and the investment that I'm making. But I'm starting again from the ground up, basically. When you sell almost your entire business and then buy some sites, it's it's working to get those back to the level we were at before, and hopefully at a higher level than I was before.
So you had a big site, I assume big site, because you said that you had money that you took from it to reinvest. Can you talk about the details of that site that you went ahead and sold? Like, where did you sell it?
Yeah, so the site's very public. I had a YouTube channel that was on that brand kind of thing. The site was called Beat in Betting, which is it's like a UK site. I don't know how big this is in America, but in the UK, there's this make money online strategy called match betting that's really popular. It When it first came into light a few years ago, it sounded like a huge scam, and I was sort of one of the first sites out there that really realized it wasn't a scam, and it was just you literally use a calculator and you can say if you bet on one thing and then bet on another thing, because the bookmakers or the casinos or whatever, they give you bonuses, you can sort of use those bonuses, use a calculator and guarantee yourself a very small profit. It's like £2, £5, £10 or whatever. But I started a site in that space. Originally, it was on an exact match domain, and I moved that onto a more brandable domain called Beating Betting. And I sold that site at the start of this year. It was low six figures. I'm not allowed to say the exact price, but it was low six figures, and I sold it to someone I already knew via Twitter. I'd met them a couple of times at an SEO conference here in the UK, But yeah, there wasn't even any contracts or anything in place, just a gentleman's agreement for me to not share figures, for me to not compete with them.
Did you use escrow or anything else, or was just straight up just wired the money, gave you the
Straight
details?
trans. He sent me. I can't actually remember the exact figures now. I know that they sent 6 months worth of payments, and there was a lump sum up front. I think the lump sum might have been 50%, but I
And
can't
then
remember
an earn
exactly.
out over time.
Yeah, so they fully paid it off. They actually paid it off early, like 3 months. I felt really bad for them because it was in the sort of sports betting space, and I sold the site, and 2 weeks later, all of the sport got cancelled in the UK because of coronavirus. So I got massively lucky with the time in there. I feel like I had an unlucky few years, and then now that happened, and I'm like, oh, maybe it's starting to swing back my way, you know?
Well, I saw the video about crypto. You said, "Oh, I let it roll in crypto, and then I should have gotten out at the top, and I didn't, and then it went all the way down." Is that part of that unlucky streak?
I don't like to class things as unlucky if it's my own fault, which I would say that was my own fault. So maybe that's something I should just kick myself for. So if you want to add that to the list, then yeah, it's been it's been an even worse amount of luck over the years.
Well, earlier you alluded a little bit to failures. So let's talk about failures. What's the first one that comes to mind when you say, "Oh, well, I want to share my experience and failures," and there's quite a few of them. So what sticks out? It's like, "Oh, well, that's the big one."
Uh, I've got a public series on YouTube where I tried to make $100,000 with on a site that I started with $20,000, and it was all very public, very much like I've spent this much this month, and the next month is I've spent this much. I've spent 5,000. I've spent 7,000, whatever. And then after like 9 or 10 months, I was like, oh crap! I've actually realised that I've picked a bad niche here, and I should not continue. I could make more money than like since I stopped doing that challenge. People ask me to bring it back and stuff, but it's just such a waste of time. I could make more money with the site undoubtedly, but I would make a lot more money spending that time and effort putting it into a different site in a better niche. And it was just completely my fault, just bad niche selection. I went into it full of ego almost. I looked at it and I thought, well, this doesn't look like the best niche in the world in terms of its competitiveness, but I'm putting money in this and I know what I'm doing. I think I can make money, and I definitely shouldn't have let myself think that. I don't know why I ever thought like that. I'm not the type to have a big ego with what I'm doing. So I don't know why suddenly I just thought I can enter any niche I want, and I'll probably make loads of money from it because I'm good at what I do. So that's
So,
definitely the biggest failure for me,
so the
especially because
niche
it's so public.
the niche was too competitive then? There were just big brands in it?
It was too competitive compared to the levels of search volume it was getting. It's not, the payoff isn't there for once you finally manage to rank for these terms. The payoff isn't there. Like I've got sites that have 10% of the competition, 5% of the competition, and have larger search volumes than that site did. It's not a terrible niche. There are the sites that are at the top at the moment in that space are definitely earning good money, but it's not worth my investment of time and money to get there versus using that time and money on a different site.
So was this site monetized aiming at affiliate offers or a lead gen, or was it
It
aimed
was
at
Amazon
ads?
affiliate site. That was sort of the whole challenge. Start it with $20,000 and try and sell it for 100,000 after however long. But
Did
in the end, I'm thousands down.
So did you start from scratch, or was this one you bought?
Yeah, yeah. That was the whole challenge, was start from scratch. The original challenge was actually I was meant to be doing a talk at a small conference, and the guy running that conference had asked for pitches on Twitter, and it turned out that it was 6 months and one day until that conference. So I said, I'll start a new site today and I'll speak about how much I grew it in 6 months. That was the original thing. And then it turned into this bigger thing on YouTube and on Twitter and stuff. And yeah, wasn't good.
So you say, "Oh, well, this is a failure because it is the main failure because it's one that people knew about, so it makes it the worst one because not only was it a failure, but everybody saw you do it."
Yeah, it's my biggest financial failure. Well, technically, I hired my friend and my now wife a few years ago as well. So I was paying them an annual salary, and that just didn't work out. Like, I couldn't, I wasn't a good boss. I'm still not really a very good boss. So in terms of financial failures, probably just hiring people for a year without having any clue what I was doing, no strategy, no guidance, no accountability, all of that stuff. That was a big waste of money. But yeah, this site was very public, a very big loss. Obviously, the losses are public, except for the money that it's been making back over the last few months. But it's only making, I don't even check it, but it's probably made $200 or $300 last month.
So how much money did you put into it then?
So the original plan was to put $20,000 in. I got to about 18 before I called it a day.
And how long did you give yourself to make that money back? I mean, did you need to have it made back in 6 months or?
No. It's always a long-term plan. It was a case with the challenge that I was doing that I realized my mistake before it got too well. It was already too late for the money, but it would have been a lot worse if I'd gone ahead and invested another year or 2 years of my life in trying to make it work. I'd rather get out early, like learn from previous mistakes with with this stuff and just cut my losses and be like, you know what, that wasn't right. Let's move on to other stuff. And this was before I sold my big site. And these days, I probably wouldn't really be wanting to start sites from scratch. I just think acquiring sites is so much better because I can avoid that completely. I don't need to worry about validating the niche or the demand or anything like that.
So how do you find the sites that you want to buy?
100% of the deals that I've done have come through Twitter direct message.
So you are the first person that I have talked to in all of my interviewing sort of journey in the last year who is doing deals off of Twitter. Is this from people that you are actively chatting with and connecting with, or people who are following you and you say, hey, I'm looking for a site, and then they connect with you that way? I mean, how do you tell me more about
Normally,
this?
normally what I'll do is I'll tweet out and just be like, I'm looking to buy some affiliate sites. If you've got any projects that you gave up on or you want to get rid of for any reason, just hit me up. And I guess I don't have the biggest audience in the world. I've only recently hit 1,000 followers. So you don't need a big network to be able to do this. It's more who follows you and not how many follow you. All it needs is these days I'm fortunate that I've got people from YouTube who follow me on Twitter who are doing the same sort of stuff. But before, at the start of the year, it was more a case of a couple of people might retweet it and they've got followers who are into this kind of thing. We're all in the same SEO industry and everyone starts projects, right? Anyone who is on the internet, it seems, who is doing some sort of SEO work can't help but buy a domain and start a project. They're like, I'm going to make a load of money, and everyone gives up after a month. I'm not really looking for those projects that are being given up on after a month, but a lot of people out there are like, I had this project in 2018 and I've not updated it. Do you want to buy it? That's the sort of direct message I tend to get.
I
And
mean, I've
yeah,
got those. Like I've got
everywhere.
sites that
I have them myself.
everybody's
I have them
got
myself.
them.
But these are all sites that are still earning money, like reasonable, not loads of money. They're all earning $100 a month to. I think the biggest site that I bought was earning about $800 or $900 a month at the time of purchase. So they're not massive, but they're earning enough to warrant me purchasing them and trying to grow them. And yeah, all via Twitter direct message. Most of the time, it's people who aren't following me, so they send me my direct messages are open, so they'll send me a message request, or they'll follow me and message me. But yeah, there's never been any contracts. There's never been. So I'm taking a risk there. I do a lot of stuff on trust. People are trusting me as well. I appreciate that. I probably should sort that next year if I go ahead and buy more sites. But there's never been any contracts. The negotiations have never lasted more than a day. I wouldn't say. I pretty much check the site for 10 or 15 minutes and know straight away that I want to buy it or don't want to buy it, and I'll usually just pay their asking price, or I find that I can get close to their asking price or nowhere near. There's people who want like 80 times the monthly revenue, and I'm like, well, I'm not paying that. But the people who they want 35x and I was going to pay 32, like I just pay them the price. It's only a few $100 difference.
What do you look for in a site?
I want it to look terrible, honestly. I think I have the opposite approach to most people here. I'm really looking for a terrible looking site that's really outdated, and I can land on the site and without even needing to scroll or click through, I already know 3 or 5 things I can change on the site straight away to improve it. Because if the site's terrible and it's earning money, that's almost like a hidden gold mine, I think. So I'm definitely just looking for a site that looks as bad as possible. I was actually speaking to some people yesterday saying, like, the more I talk about this stuff, I can imagine someone having a good site and going ahead and changing it before they offer it to me. So they'll go and make it look worse, and then they'll go, "Do you want to buy this site off me?"
All right. So then this question, what are you doing here? Why do you do this versus using, working in an SEO agency or going back to university and doing something else? Or why this? Why not ebooks or making courses or all of the one of many things that you can do in making money online?
I don't have any customers or any clients. I can get up when I want. I can work whatever hours I want. That's the dream for me. I'm very vocal about not earning loads of money. Like I hate doing the income report type videos, and you're like, oh yeah, I think the last one it was like $5,000 or something like that. It's like, oh, I earned $5,000 last month and barely worked any hours. But I'm always like really keen to be like, but by the way, I spent loads of money on those sites, and I don't take a very big salary. I'm fortunate that I don't have to work very much. And for someone with very low social skills like me, who never really wants to leave the house, just waking up and rolling onto my computer every day, that's what I would be doing if it wasn't my job. So that's why, just no customers, no clients. I'll never say never in the future, but it's not something I see myself doing. As for courses, I hate to do the cliche thing. I don't know why it is, because it would just make me so much money if I did the cliche thing, or not so much money, but so much more money than I have at the minute. But I don't know. I don't like to be predictable, I guess. I was just gonna say, I just like helping people for free. I've always done it. It's what made my first site successful, is that there was very few sites doing what I was doing, but the ones that were doing it were charging for access. And I was like, I'm just going to release all this for free and get affiliate links and do that. Yeah, I'm not like, I didn't, you mentioned university there. I didn't go to university. Like, I wasn't going to pay the fees, especially when I already knew I kind of wanted to be working on the internet, which a bit like in a space where you don't really need qualifications to get into it. I was already doing well enough to get a job and stuff. So
What do your folks think about what you're doing?
they don't understand it.
Why
Absolutely
don't you
don't
just
have a
go
clue.
get a real job?
Yeah, well, I got my mom to help edit posts this year in coronavirus, in the lockdown. She got like furloughed from a job, so she had several months on her hands to do nothing. And I was like, if you're doing nothing, you can just edit some posts for me. So she was really happy about the fact that she was sort of slowly starting to learn what it is that I actually do and what the sites are and stuff. But I did have to tell her off at a family barbecue when she started going, "Oh, that's like your site," and then, like, she said the domain, and I was like, "Don't say that again." I was like, "I told you, do not tell anyone the domain names."
Oh, did you actually buy the domain whitemeat.com?
No, no, I didn't. I thought that was really funny that John Mueller of Google liked that tweet. Like, I just thought, that's it. Doesn't seem like the right thing. It doesn't seem on brand for Google to be liking that. But no, I didn't.
Wasn't
I've
that
bought
like
worse.
someone on the Pope's Instagram account like liked some picture of like women in bathing suits or something? There was some investigation into why his Instagram account was liking these random, really inappropriate images.
Just some guy. It wasn't the Pope. It wasn't the Pope himself. I hadn't seen that, but
Yeah,
I'd
no,
definitely be blaming it on someone else if I was him.
I'm pretty sure that's what the headline one is why is the Pope's Instagram account liking like bikini babes or something? It was really interesting.
Ask the Pope.
That's right. I mean, I gotta get it. Once I get big enough, I will have a direct line. Like that is the goal, is to be able to pick up the phone,
Yeah.
call the
Well, you
Pope.
said you're going to dig through my tweets. Obviously, you brought up the white meat one there. That's obviously from my Twitter. Well, you need to be bringing these up with the Pope in future and be like, I'm going to dig through your Instagram. Just want to know what you think of these girls.
How about this? It says your tweet was, the trick to having a good night's sleep is to have no new ideas.
Yeah. So I never sleep. And I think it's just because I'm always thinking. I'm always thinking ideas. I'm always thinking, what am I going to be working on next? The problem is I never carry on working on the thing that I should be working on. Got shiny object syndrome and look towards the next new thing. But yeah, the few nights where I do sleep well, I notice that it's because I'm not thinking about projects or ideas or businesses for the future.
How do you manage then the shiny object syndrome? Because I know me, I'm constantly spinning on things, but I have to put a lot of them to the side just because otherwise I mean, I already have a podcast and I have YouTube and I have way too many sites that I basically neglect because I'm constantly focusing on what I'm most interested in, but it does prevent me from growing some of those things to their potential because I'm distracted. I'm over here. I'm talking to you right now when I probably should be writing content, like, because this is more fun to me. How do you manage that?
That's a tough question because I don't do it very well. I would say just the experience of having done it too many times, just too many times I've looked towards the next project. And especially after exiting from the website that I owned before, there was always that thought of all the other sites I started. After that one started to do well, I already started 2, 3, 4 other sites that didn't really go anywhere. And once I left that site or sold that site, I was thinking like, what if I'd have just put that time into that site? You always want to diversify, you always want to lower your risk, but I think they're often excuses for people who just want to go towards the next new project, because I think when you're earning $100, $200 a month from a website, you don't need to be thinking about risk diversification. If you lose out on that income, then it's not going to ruin your life for most people, depending on the part of the world you're in, obviously. But I think a lot of the time we make excuses for ourselves to start a new project, but often, being perfectly honest, I can't resist. I just have to buy a domain name and have to spin something up and see what happens. If you have any
When
tips, I want to know them.
Oh no, I'm trying to get them from you because I'm deep in it, like super deep in it. And you're right. I use diversification as an excuse for my shiny object syndrome. Look, guys, I just need to diversify my income stream so that if Google hammers one of them that I have money from somewhere else. I say that all the time, but the truth is, you're right. It's my shiny object syndrome, and then I'm just servicing that by bouncing from thing to thing to thing and then turning around and be like, all right, let's start over and let's go through those things.
Yeah, let's go back to the first site and improve the things I knew I should have improved 6 months ago. That's
Or
what normally happens for me.
or 2 years ago.
Yeah, or even longer. Absolutely.
How old were you and how did you do it when you made your very first dollar with the internet?
I mean, my first job was with an internet company, so technically, I guess
That doesn't count.
they
This
paid
is
me.
like
Okay,
on me, like my own thing.
so during my first job, we worked for a phone accessory company, and I just thought I'm going to start my own blog about tech stuff. I find that every project or everything I'm ever working on, I always end up starting a blog about it. It's a really bad thing. It's worked out for me, fortunately, but back then I was like, I'm just going to start a tech blog like everyone does. And there was some phone coming out called the HTC One, which was probably about the time that the iPhone 5S came out or something like that.
So
And
about 4 years ago.
about 10 years ago, probably, maybe more than that. I was about 18, I think, and I'm 28 now.
Was there iPhone 10 years ago?
Yeah,
Has
more
the
than
iPhone
10
been
years
out
ago.
10 years? Am I really that old?
Way more than 10 years. I would
Oh
say
my God.
probably 15 years, about
No,
that. Yeah.
no, no
I'm
way.
sorry. I'm sorry to tell you,
I'm
but
old. I am legitimately old. Oh my God.
I feel the same way.
No.
But yeah, I started this blog and I wrote a really boring blog about HTC One phone cases, the best phone cases you could get, and it just completely by chance ranked #1 in Google on the day that the phone released for HTC One case. Yeah, I tell people this story, and the figures always vary. I'm sure because I can never remember exactly how much it was, but it was like $200 or $300, something like that, on a brand new blog, my first real blog that I put affiliate links on, and it earned $200 or $300 in a day, and I was like, this is crazy. And then the next day, it earned about 150 or something, and then the day after that, the rankings were gone, and it didn't really earn anything. And I tried roping my friends in who worked with me. I tried saying, I've got this site, it's earning well, or like you should write for it as well. And what I can do is I can make you an Amazon tracking code that's just like your name, and then I'll take 50% and you take 50% of anything your post generates, because I've already got an established website that's obviously really successful. And they all joined in for about one post, and then they gave up and I gave up. But yeah, that was the first time. I think that was the first time I
Well, what
earned anything.
about your YouTube channel? Didn't you have some YouTube channel when you were a kid?
So when I was at the same company, I started a tech YouTube channel as well, and
Yeah,
that
but
went.
how old were you when you started that?
I was 18.
18.
Yeah, or maybe even 19. I don't know. I probably sound about 10 in the videos, but I was about 18, 19. The videos were absolutely awful. You had, I don't know the rules these days, but you had to be a minute long to get ads, and almost all of the videos were me showing a phone case or me giving some really specific tech tip like how to open a SIM tray, and just desperately trying to make it a minute long just so I could get the ads on it. And the videos are awful. I did a video on my channel about this channel, and it ended up going really well. Over time, it's earned about $20,000, but obviously this is over a decade now. But most of that money came in the first 2 or 3 years, like $15,000 or something, just from me. I would buy a phone online, do 20 or 30 videos of it, get some accessories sent out to me from the companies, and then I would sell the phone for about a $50 loss, and the ads from the video would end up making $1,000, something like that. So that was, yeah, I guess those two things were sort of probably around the same time.
Why are you doing YouTube?
I just like sharing stuff. I, I said it earlier. I like free information. I like teaching people. I don't know why. I've never wanted to be a teacher at school. In fact, I was a horrible student. I was the class clown, just the idiot, I guess, in class that the teachers all hated. I've never wanted to be a teacher, but I just really get some weird satisfaction feeling out of teaching people. Like when you get an email from someone that says, "Oh my god, like I read your post a year ago and started doing that stuff, and now I've made X amount of money." That's just an awesome feeling. Like you don't even know these people are following you because it's on the internet. You don't talk face to face, and then they go ahead and do it. It's just someone who happens to have read something you've done or watched a video that you've put out. You never know that they've done it. They're just a view on your analytics, right? But then you hear from them a year later and they've done really well. It's it's just a good feeling. I just like it, and I'm really motivated by money, but at the same time, there are certain things that I wouldn't really sacrifice for money, and I think what that feeling is one of those things. For the same reason, I don't want to release courses or anything like that, just because people would be like, "Oh, another guy releasing a course." That is part of it, but also I could release a course, but I would probably release it for free and just put some affiliate links in there or something. I can make some money. I wouldn't make anywhere near as much as if I charged for it, especially if I was charging $3,000, like whatever site it was that was charging $3,000 for their course. But I'd make some, and I'd be happy with that.
You know, it's interesting because earlier in this interview, you talked about not paying yourself that much or not worrying necessarily how much you were making. But then you also just said a minute ago that you were really motivated by money. And I was curious where that really fits in as far as what it is, how money fits into your goals here with your business.
Yeah. So I am massively motivated by money. I'm not gonna shy away from that. It's something that's always been with me. But what I say about not paying myself a big salary and stuff, that's not through choice. Like I would pay myself a big salary if I could, but I just want to be honest with people that are engaging with my content. If I'm out there saying my site's earned $5,000 last month, $5,500 or whatever, I don't want people to go away thinking I'm going to start a site and I'm going to make $5,000 and it's only going to cost me $10 for a domain name and suddenly I'm going to be doing this. I want to be very clear with people and say I'm investing a lot of money into these sites, and as a result of that, I can't pay myself a lot of money from it. Now, when the day does come that I can pay myself a lot of money, I'm definitely going to do it. But I just, the reason I don't pay myself a lot of money is just because I can't. And I want to be clear with people. There's so many people out there that don't make any money, but want to come across that like they're making loads of money. That's obviously a huge trend on YouTube, right? Like giving away $10,000, even though they're not giving anything away and they're giving it to their friend. I guess I'm just the complete opposite of that. Even if I was earning a lot of money, I probably wouldn't be very vocal in it. I'd just be as honest as I could be without coming across like a douche.
Tell me about clichewebsite.com.
Oh God, is that still live?
It is. All of the links to the blueprint and the about and all that stuff, those go to a 404, but clichewebsite.com is still live.
Yeah, so that was a project I started, God, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, I guess. And it was probably going to be like what I just mentioned about a free course. It was going to teach people everything I knew for free, include some affiliate links. And as the website name, like cliche website, everyone does these courses, everyone wants to teach people how to make money online. I just was clear in the name, like this is a cliche website, you know. And I guess I was just really trying to buy into that persona of just, this is all a bit of a joke, but it's also serious. And I honestly can't remember much about the site other than most people didn't get it. Like, people did not get the joke at all. Like, I think I'm writing the content like I'm an absolute boss. I make so much money and I'm going to tell you how I do it. And most people reading would be like, oh, God, this guy's a bit of an idiot. But in reality, it was meant to be a joke. But yeah, I can't remember too much about it. So I can't clue you in more. But let me open it up and let me see. I don't know if you have any other questions, but
oh no, because I've just recently started digging into your content in your videos and your Twitter account. And what I see and what I really like, honestly, is that you are in the trenches with us, but you are trying to, I mean, I don't want to say it's not making fun, but there's the lighter side of it, like trying to lighten it up in some way, because people are either like full on guru, like they're in it and they're constantly selling and there's not room for a humorous moment. And my friend and colleague here on YouTube, his handle is .fix. Like he uses his gaming one and he makes humorous, make money online.
Yeah, I've seen one of his videos before. And yeah, I mean, I was impressed with like his sort of style.
Yeah, no, I love Fix, and he's one of the people who's rarely out there just saying, okay, this is funny. Like you guys are so serious. If you looked at it from the outside looking in, it's ridiculous, the stuff that we do and say and don't really think about. And so I think that is missing. And it's a great commentary. It's a necessary commentary on our business and on our niche is the wrong, like our corner of the world. It just, people are so worried about their reputation and they're so worried about their persona and their brand that they don't stop for a minute at all to just have a light moment. And that's what I like about your Twitter account as I'm scrolling through, and that some of your tweets really resonate with me. Like the one where you say the trick to having a good night's sleep is to have no new ideas. And I laughed. I was like, he's so right. Because I mean, I'm in the shower. I'm like in the shower washing my hair 3 times because I'm like thinking and like, did I wash my hair already? I'm like, I better watch it again. This happens over and over because I'm like thinking and distracted.
Yeah, the shower is, I could spend 45 minutes in the shower just thinking through ideas. It's the place for ideas. I don't know why it is.
I don't know.
I just opened up Cliche website. I can't believe it's still live. I should definitely make sure this is deleted from the internet. Something's gone wrong here for this to still be live. But yeah, the first sentence says, let's start with how impressive I am. And most people, most people probably didn't get it was a joke, but
Well, if I mean the URL should tell you that it is a joke, but
yeah,
if people say they ignore that part and they start reading it, they're like, "This is really interesting. Is
yeah.
this guy serious? I don't know."
Just coming back to what you were just saying about sort of the need for some light-hearted takes on things in the space. That's what I wanted to do when I was starting out and stuff. I was always thinking like everyone's so guru-y. Everyone's just trying to sell stuff, and people aren't really giving a realistic take on things. And I definitely wanted to bridge that gap between actually helping people but also entertaining people. I've not really found a good balance yet. I think I'm not really good enough at making videos and editing videos to really get where I want to be. I would love to have enough money just to hire someone to edit the videos the way I actually want them to be. But the downside with doing that is if people wanted to get into this, the same things that we're doing, making videos with an end goal of making money from it. Like my site isn't even monetized. My channel isn't even monetized. Sorry. If you have an end goal of trying to make money from a channel, it's not the way to go at all. I don't think it's a tough enough niche to make money in or to get views in on YouTube when it's a serious, straightforward video tutorial. People are going to find it useful. If you're throwing jokes in there, that immediately gets rid of 50-70% of the audience who don't find your jokes funny. For me, 99% of the audience who don't find the jokes funny. It's not the best way to go about things if money is your sole concern. But for me, I just want to help some people in what I think is the best way I can help them, I guess, which is some sort of light-hearted, useful content, I guess.
That adding that component of maybe entertainment is not the right word, but it's engaging in a different way. And I do think it makes you stand out because almost everybody else is making the same content.
Well,
Like
thank
really,
you.
it's
I
the
appreciate
same
that.
keywords, the same headlines, the titles, the same tags. Like everything is this thing about modeling, right? Like model what works, and what that creates, and then just this endless stream of content that is the same.
Yeah, I, I've noticed that. And obviously, I do want to grow the channel. And I find myself crossing over into subjects where I want to reach bigger audiences. So to do that, you have to cover the topics that people are already covering because they're covering them because they know there's views there. They've done keyword research. They know there's a lot of demand there. But I find that every time I do something in that where I'm thinking this is based on keywords that people are searching for, I find that I lose almost all of the sort of humor that I'm trying to inject. I'm thinking too much about I need this video to be good. I need to make sure the engagement's right. I need to keep people watching for however long. If I'm doing a title of a video that isn't ever going to be searched for, it's only going to be found from people who are subscribed, or it might get suggested to people because I am subconsciously maybe I'm not thinking about the fact that people are going to be searching for this, that people are going to be landing on it. I think those videos work so much better because you're already not thinking about the views. You're just thinking, I just want to make something that people might like watching. So it's really about finding that balance when you want to target the stuff that lots of people actually are searching for. How do you make those videos better for a wider audience? I guess I don't know if that's possible on my channel. Who knows?
Well, I think it is. I think it just takes time, right? And
Yeah.
the reps and continuing to be persistent about it. I forget who it is. Is it Sean Cannell, Think Media, or these other, I guess the YouTube gurus talk about like the types of content that you can make. You make videos for new subscribers, right? So you focus on keywords and then you make videos for your current subscribers. So to serve the people who are already fans, and then you make videos just for you. So if you divide that up so that your channel ends up being more balanced. So certainly there's content that new subscribers won't ever see and the current subscribers won't like, and then just for you that maybe nobody would like. But that to me seems like a really good recipe for the long haul, for the marathon. You say, okay, I can't serve everybody, but at least I will keep going, right? The channel will continue to grow because I have that keyword, that search stuff that maybe I don't like that much, but brings in new people. And then I serve the current people with the stuff that they already know and like. They've subscribed to me. They already like me. So I can serve them with what I know and I don't have to worry about keywords. And then I just make whatever I want sometimes because that makes me feel good. And I'm going to come back to the camera. I'm having a really hard time right now with bucket number 1. So that keyword driven content to
Yeah.
bring in new subscribers, because I don't enjoy making those. I'm not good at it. That's the thing. I'm not, that content when I create it is not good.
That's the same for me. I think it's a huge issue because there's obviously 20, 30, 1,000 other videos already talking about exactly the same thing. You're already thinking about that in your head when you're recording it. You're like, I know someone's already said this stuff. I'm just repeating what people have already said. When you're serving, like you said, I've never heard people break it up into those buckets, as you say, but I do exactly that thing. I guess it's weird. Like I'm always targeting new people or existing people. I find that every video I make where I'm targeting new people, the keyword stuff, I'm always just thinking, 1, I'm just repeating what people are already saying, and 2, my existing subscribers aren't going to like this. It's hard. I don't know how to make a good video. Maybe we'll crack the formula one day.
I do think that is the joy, though, of having a small channel, and that I didn't appreciate it at the time when I only had no subscribers or 50 subscribers or 100 subscribers, is there's so much freedom because you can make whatever you want. You don't have to worry about serving people because nobody's there yet. So you can make videos and experiment, and there's literally no pressure. You're like, I'm going to turn on the record button and let's go, and then post it. And then who cares? Because nobody's going to see it. And now I create a video and I'm like, ugh. Not that trolls are going to troll it, but that, there's a lot of people aren't going to be into this, or maybe people will unsubscribe, and all that work that I did to get them here in the first place is just like,
yeah, it's not fun when you publish a video and like in your analytics, it's like, this is the 10th most popular of your last 10 videos.
Or the gigantic like thumbs down, like people who subscribe to the channel who at some point liked something that I made, and this comes through and they're like, you suck.
Yeah, just an instant dislike. It does surprise me. I was actually watching or listening to a different podcast today, not in the space at all, but a guy on that podcast was talking about sort of being famous, I guess, or not being famous, but at least having a big audience on the internet and the weird stuff that happens with that. And I just think it's crazy when you hear these stories because we've only got very small audiences related to these people, but I don't know about you, but I've certainly had weird interactions. Like I've been trolled the worst possible trolling. I've genuinely not seen many worse trollings. Oh, sorry, I'm cracking up there as if I'm getting emotional, but I actually find this stuff really funny. I have like a hate folder on my old Mac. I had a hate folder saved on my desktop where I just screenshotted all the favorite like abusive comments and just put them in this folder and just laugh at them.
I almost pulled those up, and then a lot of them contained a lot of profanity, and it's like, ugh, this isn't something we can cover on this. But some of them, like the guy who was like, let's fight, like, I'll fight you.
Oh, that's not even like, so I don't want to get like really deep here or anything, but I had serious health issues a couple of years ago, or last year was it? I don't know. I had cancer, which I don't care about. Like I'll happily share it with anyone. But I was having someone comment saying like, this guy's a compulsive liar. I saw him in their shop with a full head of hair. He's lying. He doesn't have cancer. And he was like replying to everyone who'd ever tweeted me. He was replying to all these people. And then like a separate issue to that, again, with the cancer thing, people were emailing me saying, oh, just to let you know, don't have chemo. You need to be eating these fruits. This is what's going to cure you. And that was like, this is on a tiny audience. I've already got 2 very weird interactions here. There's been plenty others, but that's just 2 tiny things. What happens, when we hit the big time and we've got 100,000 subscribers or whatever? How many weirdos are out there?
What was really interesting in that sentence, and I wanted to point it out because I pay attention to it now, because you said, what happens when we, not what happens if we.
Oh, yeah.
is the when. So the if versus when statements, I think, are very powerful. Most people don't even realize they're doing it, because to me it indicates a confidence
Hmm.
that something is possible, because they say, well, what's going to happen if we hit 100,000 subscribers? And that tells me that somebody isn't sure that it's possible. And then somebody says, well, what's going to happen when that happens? And then that tells me something else about them. Do you
Yeah.
do that consciously, the if versus when? I mean, are you confident that you'll get to 100,000 subscribers?
I don't. I didn't consciously say that. I don't know how much confidence I have in actually doing that either. I think at the start of this year, I tweeted out my big goal for the year was to have 50,000 subscribers. I'm currently at 1,500, although I didn't upload for about 6 months of the year because I was too embarrassed about my challenge going badly. So I think I'll set a more real. I still want to set massive goals. Like I am a big believer in setting really big sort of goals that you're probably not going to achieve, but they're still somewhat achievable, 0.1% type things. I think I'd probably set like 10 or 15,000 for next year. I'd like to get there. If I'd get to 100,000, I guess it's just a question of time. As long if you're consistent, it might take me 20 years and I might have 10,000 videos. But I just think with all of this stuff, where you're not, especially with YouTube, you're not reliant on the algorithm in the same way that you're reliant on the normal Google algorithm. Did I even say that right? Google algorithm. The words are all merging in my head for some reason. I think YouTube really is a volume game in terms of if you do make loads and loads and loads of videos and at least one person likes them. I don't mean clicks the like button, but one person sits there and thinks, this is a really good video. I'm going to tell my friend about this. It's just a waiting game. Like anyone who sticks with it will undoubtedly get to the bigger goals. It's just how long it takes and how many videos it takes and how many painstaking hours of editing it takes.
Well, I haven't come out and said this officially,
Yeah.
but I'll say it right here, and I'll open
Mm-hmm.
myself to all the embarrassment if I don't get there. But 2021, my goal is 10K on
Yeah.
YouTube. I feel like that.
Oh, easy.
See, I don't know.
You'll
It
get
took
there.
me
You'll get there.
it took me 2 years of clawing to get to 2,500. So
Yeah.
on that trajectory, I don't know, but I'm gonna say 2021 is the year of 10,000. So I want to get
Yeah.
to 10,000 downloads on my podcast, 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, and $10,000 a month just overall in my
Yeah.
business stuff. So it's
Yeah.
the 2021 is the 10,000 year.
It sounds like really good goals to have. Especially like the figure, it's not guaranteed. Like you're not going out and saying I want 3,000. You're not saying you want 100,000 or 50,000 like I did. I still think someone could start a channel because I still think most of the channels in the sort of industry we're in, there's something missing. There's something like that hasn't been tapped into in the best way. I don't really know exactly what it is because I would be doing it myself if I knew what it was. But I think someone could start a channel and get to 50K, 100K in a year if they were consistent doing the right stuff. They knew the algorithm
Mhm.
and all that stuff. Do you spend much time in terms of learning about the YouTube algorithm or researching like what the top channels are doing and that sort of thing? Because that's something I'm really interested in, but I struggle to actually implement the stuff that they tell you to do. Or
I
do you?
wouldn't say I spend hours. I follow a couple of YouTubers like Brian G and some of the other folks. I try to avoid the, how to get so many views or so many subscribers. I try to look at channels that are successful and then see what they are doing. Like one of the
Mhm.
things that Brian G does really well is he gets people to click on the next video by, I think, cutting off the video early. Like I'm always like, you're not done yet. And he just is like talking, talking, talking. And he says, hey, if you want to learn, basically it would seems to me like part two, he's like, the video's on the screen. And I'm like, of course I'm going to click that. Let's find out. And looking at channels like from that perspective versus like top 10 tips to,
Yeah.
because that is the hook, but just looking more at the actual things that they're doing. Like your videos, one of the things that, I guess, techniques that you do that sort of, I don't want to say shook me up or woke me up, but made me pay attention, is you do this black screen like break where sometimes you'll do a quick
Yeah,
voiceover over
yeah,
it.
yeah,
And that's unusual. And so it was like, that's an interesting technique. I wonder if I can implement that. So that's what I
yeah. So I
do
just
when I'm,
stole that.
hey, it doesn't matter.
Like with everything, just steal it. Steal like an artist, as they say.
Doesn't, I mean, it's just
But
little things like that. That's my research more
yeah,
so than like sitting down and doing, a course on YouTube. I just like to see what seems to be catching me as a consumer of YouTube, like
hmm,
using the platform and what works for me, and then thinking about that and trying to create content with that in mind. And I mean, that's why I'm here doing this. Is I really like the long form interviews where you actually get to hear somebody speak and then maybe see inside their mind. And I think that's really unusual to have a real conversation that's
yeah.
not super formal and super scripted and like this really difficult Q&A, where I feel like somebody who's watching this interview later could come away from it knowing more about you, not just what you do, but the kind of person you are. And
I'd
I
hope
like
so.
that content. And
Yeah,
that's
I
why,
enjoy it as well. So do you think that'll be your focus for next year, like doing all long form and live streams or interviews or whatever? Or
that has been a big focus of this year. And the relationship building side of it is, I think, 99.9% of the reason why I'm as far as I am. Uh, but I'm not catching suggested traffic because a
mhm.
lot of these videos aren't, heavily tagged or keyword set up. I think I have the content, I have the library, so people come back to the channel and they can see what I have. And if they're interested in that topic, they're likely to subscribe. But I think to have any sort of major jumps, I'm gonna have to catch suggested somehow. And it
Mhm.
may mean that I need to create the content that I struggle with, which is bucket number one, which is the keyword focus stuff. And I have to get better not only at putting that content out, but making it good. I'm not a good video editor. I'd rather just shoot the breeze with people and
Yeah, yeah,
lightly
yeah.
edit it. My editing skills are in progress.
Yeah, that's the same for me. I
So,
can pretty much cut out all the times I stumbled over my words and zoom in and out. That's about as much editing as I can do. One thing for me is like it's almost like there's a bucket one and a half in terms of what you were saying there, because I almost think that for the suggested videos, it's not so much keywords that people are searching for, but it's the keywords that people are going to click on. Does that make sense? Like there's no tools you can use for that, but it's creating that content that's, if it does by chance get into the suggested types of videos, it's that hook, you know. I don't know. I have loads of ideas for that sort of stuff, but at the same time, there's always the worry. It's like, is that clickbait? Is that what I want to be? Obviously, to you have to play the game. That's the thing on YouTube. It's all a game. Everyone knows what you're doing. They know, even the viewers, people who don't make channels, just viewers of YouTube channels, they know what you're doing. They know why you've written a title a certain way. They know why your thumbnail looks the way it does. Some people are going to judge you for how it looks, but it's just, at the end of the day, you're just trying to do right by you. You're trying to reach the most people you can, right? And sometimes you might have to take a decision that isn't quite the right, not it's not quite the way you would have originally wanted to go about things. But I hate these channels. You know, everyone's sat in the corner like, I saw like shocked faces every YouTube. Like, I'm sure I've got a video out there that's got me with a shocked face, like, because that's clicks, right? You put a shocked face in the thumbnail and you get clicks.
I have not been able to do a single selfie with my mouth wide open. Like
Yeah,
I just can't do it. I just,
no, I just have to take a frame from my videos, all of my thumbnails. Sometimes they look like I've posed for them, but I never have. They're all just paint, like going through my videos frame by frame, going, do I look like an absolute idiot here? Sometimes I'll be like, I do, and that's funny. I'm going to use that. Most of the time, I'm like, I've just got to get to a point where I look relatively normal and take that and then edit that in. But I do think to get to the next level, to get to the 100K or whatever, you've got to take a picture, you've got to take a selfie, you've got to get someone else to take a picture of you just for the thumbnail. Like the thumbnail is so important. But
So,
that's the kind of effort, the next level of effort, I guess.
well, I think it would be interesting then to do like a quick sort of what are we going to do in 2021? Because then I can circle around to you
Hmm.
next year and say, well, here's what we said. How are we doing? And so I just was out there and saying, okay, 2021 is the 10K year. I think I've set some reasonably achievable goals with some work. What about you? What are you going to accomplish? What are your goals? The realistic goals, not 100K, but what's realistic goals for 2021?
Unrealistic goal. My original thought when you were saying all of that was my target would be to just focus on my projects that I've already got. Maybe that's an unrealistic goal with my shiny object syndrome, but first goal, I would love to just not start anything new, not buy any sites, just focus on the stuff I've got. My first, my first, I guess 10K a month is what I'm aiming for with the portfolio of sites that I bought. That's somewhat realistic, not impossible. Still, some way off that. The best month last month was 5,000 or something, so we're halfway there. It's not guaranteed by any means, especially with Google updates. I know there's a Google update today or last night, and I've been refreshing our analytics all day. Just
How are you doing? What does it look like
I
for
don't
you?
know. It's so stupid because anything that changes today could just change back tomorrow or in a week or whatever. I don't know why I spend so much time refreshing it.
I
Um,
seem to be doing okay, or
yeah,
even I have one site that got hammered last year, and it's sort of been in the doldrums, and is basically almost fully recovered to where it was from an update from last year that had me like
yeah.
crying. I'm like, oh,
I'm trying.
resurrected, it's back.
I'm trying not to look too much, to be honest. But yeah, I would like to say 10K a month from those sites, but at the same time, what is 10K a month? If you're spending 15K a month, then I don't like revenue figures are almost pointless. So one realistic target, I would like to reach profitability. It's hard to start again from scratch or almost from scratch, just with budget in the bank. I've got an employee now, I've got a team of freelancers, I've got myself to pay. I want to reach profitability. We're getting closer to that, but a realistic goal for next year, I want to reach profitability. Got to be a sustainable business for YouTube. I don't know. I think I'm just going to aim high and just go 25K. I'm going to aim for a stupid target and not a non sort of figure based target. I would love to just actually be consistent for a whole year making videos because it's just something I've always done is disappear. A lot of people recommend filming videos in batches. Like you, obviously, you said yourself that you do a few calls in a day and then schedule the uploads. For me, I can't do it. I don't know what it is. I do one video, and as soon as I'm done, I feel so exhausted. Or I don't know if I'm like got certain amounts of creative juices, and I'm like I've just used all my creativity up. I've recorded the video, go back to doing nothing or whatever I was doing. I
You
would
know,
love to just be
that's
consistent for a year, making videos at least one a week.
it's interesting that you talk about that because it reminds me of a conversation I had with my friend Jacob Karras. He's an affiliate marketer, and we've been friends online for about 2 years. He's in Australia, and he has this Facebook group that's got 5,000 members, and he just like, man, I can't get to YouTube. And I said, well, why not? And he says, oh, well, I hate making the thumbnails and I hate doing the editing. And I said, well, why don't you just make content that's easy for you to make? And he's like, oh, well, only certain people will like it. And I said, well, aren't those the people you're trying to reach?
That's the whole point. Yeah.
Is to reach the people who like the content that you like to make. And he's like, oh, I'll think about it. And then he just started doing a video a day, which was his phone, and just recording him talking for a couple minutes. That's all he felt like doing, and he would just upload it, do a really simple thumbnail or none. And then his channel again started to grow, and so he didn't have that like emotional like energy flop at the end. And it was, like you said, just put him on the path to, I mean, do you know what content looks like that's easy for you to make?
I do. The video that I did published today, which was just my monthly progress report kind of thing for one of my sites that I'm running. And a site that I'm trying to grow to 1 million visits a month. That for me is easy content. I didn't script it, which usually I would script my videos. Obviously, I had the figures that I needed, my analytics and ad revenue and stuff. That is easy content for me, but I was actually thinking in my head, I want to do less of this easy content. I was like, because I do that, I do a monthly income report now, which I only started last month, but I want to continue with. But I was actually thinking I should just make this one long form video a month, all that stuff. And I actually want to work more on the stuff that isn't the easy content, as stupid as that sounds. I don't know if this is just me not wanting to be cliche, you know. I don't know. I think to get to the loftier goals or to be better than the channels that are already big, for me, I feel like I want to put the effort in. I it just sounds so snobby, I guess. Like I do care about what people think when they watch the video. Like, do they think I put effort into it? Do they think they took value from the information? Did they actually enjoy watching it as well? Like all of those things really matter to me. The easy content for me to make, they would probably walk away learning something, but they wouldn't think that I put effort into making it. They wouldn't think that they wouldn't be particularly entertained by it, I guess. And I don't know. It's not art, obviously, because my videos are terrible, but it's almost like I want to get to that level. I would love to get to the level where I publish a video because I don't think I've ever had it, or maybe I've had it like once or twice, but then I've realized afterwards the audio was terrible. But I'd love to get to a point where I'll publish a video and I'm like, you know what, that was actually a really good video. If someone else would have made that, I would have loved that video, which I've just never had that. It doesn't help when you look the way I do and sound the way I do, but but
Look at
aside
me.
from
I'm
that,
like this gray-haired old
yeah,
lady
I do
who
love the fact that you like rock up in your onesie and stuff for your live streams. It's like me. Like my top's not ironed. I wear the same. I've got the same 10 t-shirts, like five in 2 different colors.
no makeup. I
Yeah, I'm
did
not.
no
But
studio.
yeah, but you know what I mean. Like I would love to watch a video and just think that was a really good video, and I want that with every video that I make. And I'm so far away from that level. I don't know.
How are you
I,
going
I
to
know what
get
you
there?
I know what you were getting at with making the easy content because that's the way to drive growth, right? You need to be making more videos that are good, that people like. That is going to get you growth. But I don't just want growth. I want growth doing something I like doing and something I'm proud of. And I think with just releasing stuff that is useful isn't that hasn't put I don't know that hasn't had a huge amount of effort from myself. I don't know. I don't think I would be proud of the results. I'd be happy that I was making money. I'd be happy that I had a load of subscribers, but I wouldn't have the satisfaction of thinking I've created something I'm proud of. I don't know. That sounds super cringy, but
It doesn't actually. And one of the YouTubers that I follow talks about talks about getting to that point. And his point is he talks about improving one thing at a time rather than trying to make every video the epitome of all of the things. So,
yeah,
in one video you say, okay, I need to publish more videos to get there. I mean, there's no question about it. The more reps you do, the more you will improve. And if you try to make every video the perfect one, then you'll make one video.
yeah,
And so his strategy is, all right, in this video, I'm going to work on one thing. And maybe this is making the lighting perfect. And so I'll make 10 videos where I get to the point where the lighting is amazing. I look great. Boom, done, box checked. And then the next one is script or title or delivery, because the end goal is that product, but it's going to be hard to get there if you don't get the reps.
yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
the reps are important. And I mean, it seems like to get there, you can only get there if you are publishing, right? Even if it's not perfect now, but you are a work in progress. Because I love the idea of going out there and seeing a video that I'm like, for me, there's so much I still have to learn. Oh my gosh. I mean, there's so
Yeah,
much I have to learn. And I have just put that need, that and the critiquing stuff aside and say, okay, I just need to get out there and be in my ecosystem and make videos. Just make
Yeah.
something.
It's very hypocritical of me, to be honest, because I'm such a big believer and promoter in the whole just start mentality, this just start subreddit. And I'm always telling people, just start, stop wasting time. You're not going to get things right. You're not going to make things perfect. You're going to mess up. Just stop wasting time. So it is hypocritical of me to be taking this sort of position where I'm trying to win Oscars with
Or you need to
with my
basically
10-minute YouTube videos.
take your own advice.
Yeah, I do. And I'm actually grateful for you saying that about putting the reps in, because I'm over here saying I want to make these amazing videos and ending up not making any at all. And people do, I do get some good feedback from the videos. Not that the audience is massive, and I'm sure it probably never will be absolutely huge, but I don't think it needs to be that. As long as you're reaching a good amount of people where it's worth your time, that's a good level to get to, I guess.
I also think perspective is important, because those of us who have met that 1,000 subscriber goal and have gotten monetized and have moved on from there, it's easy to forget what it was like when you had no subscribers or 10, and putting yourself in the shoes of somebody who would literally kill someone to be where you are right now because of the work that it takes to get from here to there. So you're like, oh, the videos aren't that good and I don't have that many subscribers. And there are literally people around the world who would trade places with you right now in a heartbeat to have what you have. Just say, okay, I do have something here, even though it isn't what I ultimately want to have.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a very good point. I've actually been really fortunate with my channels. I've never had that grind, as you say, to get to 1,000 subscribers. I am in the grind at the minute because my channel isn't monetized because of the 4,000 watch hours. I haven't hit that because I don't have enough videos and my videos aren't good enough. I never realized that all of my audio was terrible on most of the videos that I made since I moved house. So I switched to this mic. People are happier now. But all of the effort that was put into those videos, it seems a lot of that was wasted. I should hit the goal soon. But with my other channels, I've just been super fortunate with the tech one I had. Back then, you didn't need 1,000 subscribers and things instantly took off. It was because I was buying phones that were brand new and doing stuff about that phone before anyone else. I was getting the traffic straight away. With my betting YouTube channel, I made the videos purely to support the blog posts almost at the start. And because the site got traffic, the videos got traffic. And because the videos were getting traffic, they were getting recommended and suggested. Again, I didn't have any issues there. And with this channel that I'm on now, people followed me across from the betting channel. Now that channel has 10,000 subscribers, probably only 300, 400 people followed me across. But for people starting from scratch, I've heard it a lot. Getting to 300 or 400 from zero is incredibly hard. And
I think it is the hardest part of YouTube is the first 500. I kid you not, that's so hard.
I've tried streaming on Twitch, and I imagine it's the same thing when you're streaming to no people. It's very hard to talk to no one and to make videos. So I am lucky, and that is really good about what you say about the perspective of someone would probably want to be in my position, even though my channel doesn't get many views and doesn't have many subscribers yet. Someone probably would want to take that channel over starting from scratch, I guess. So,
yes.
Yeah, I need to get my arse into gear and start making more videos.
This is the proverbial foot, like.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, we are going to wrap this up, but if people want to know more about you or follow you, where shall we send them?
My YouTube channel is Luke Jordan. That's my name.
All right, it'll be in the description.
Yeah, it took me a while to overtake the many other Luke Jordans that are out there with the same name. There was some pesky little kid with a Minecraft channel that I had to beat him down. He was like 8 years old, and I sent him messages of abuse after. I was like, ha! No, I didn't really, but I was glad to overtake him. Twitter is LR_Jordan. I probably wouldn't recommend checking that out if you're.
I think that is probably the most valuable thing that people could do is go to your Twitter, and I'm totally going to tell people to go there.
Well, it should come with a warning that most of the stuff I tweet it out thinking this is going to make me laugh because no one else is going to get it. That's like I'm like people are going to think this is so weird when I send it that I even did it today. Like I somehow I got this huge boost of confidence. Like I'm not a confident person or I'm not like an arrogant person or anything, but I tweeted out saying that I spent years doing stuff trying to impress people and got nowhere. Now I do whatever the F I want and people are impressed. Like, so I tweeted that out and I was like, I was so confident. I just wanted to tweet that. And I thought people are going to think, what a cocky so and so. Like, why is he bigging himself up like that? So then I retweeted it and I put, so anyway, is anyone hiring? Google ruined all my sites. And like, and like, I just thought no one's going to get the like. I got a reply straight away saying, "Is this a joke?" And I laughed to myself the fact that people are going to be sat there thinking, "I don't understand what he's saying. Is that a joke?" So yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. Most of the stuff I post is for my own enjoyment, though, so it should come with that warning. Occasionally, there's a gem bit of information in there, but yeah, YouTube or Twitter, they're the only places that I hang out really.
Awesome. Well, thank you so very much for being here.
Oh, thank you very much for having me on, and we'll have to catch up again in the future. And I wish you a good Christmas and New Year, and hope you hit those 10,000 targets. Best of luck to you.
All right, you made it this far. What you see here on the screen is a link to my playlist of all the interviews I have posted here on YouTube and also a video that YouTube has picked out just for you. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.